Great. Welcome everyone to our first stakeholders update of 2023. I hope that the new year has started off well for everyone. We're excited to see you all on the call. I'd like to start by sharing that this year we celebrate 25 years of advancing medical research, promoting disease awareness, and providing support and education to people with scleroderma, their families, and support network. We are very excited to celebrate 25 years of the National Scleroderma Foundation and really excited to share this with all of you throughout the year. So this will be a year-long celebration. We'll really look forward to seeing you all at conference in July and making a big splash there, but we'll celebrate all year long. And in case you didn't guess it, we were formed in 1998, which is why I was playing that lovely 90s music as we were waiting. So hope you all enjoyed that. So with a new year come new goals, and we are addressing this a little bit differently this year. In the past, we've had 3 to 5 year strategic plans, and I don't have to tell you all that we don't have a crystal ball just like anyone else, but rather than spend a lot of time trying to guess what the future would look like, we're really operating under more of a strategic framework at this point. And so our mission remains unchanged, and you'll see that these primary goals that we've developed with our leadership and our board really reflect that and really are looking at enhancing our mission and how we can best deliver that. So really focusing in 3 primary areas, with the first one being our programs and services. Making sure that everyone in our scleroderma community, no matter where they are in the country or on their diagnostic journey, has access to the programs and services that we offer at the foundation. The next one really focuses on culture and making sure that we're very intentional in the way in which we're designing our culture, but then also delivering on that every day. And the end goal there is creating a culture where everyone can share openly and engage authentically. And we feel like, you know, we're definitely making progress there, but that also helps ensure that access piece, right? So that people feel really comfortable asking what they need for. And then the third, of course, supports the first 2, in that as we increase our funding to support our mission pillars, we're able to invest more across each of these areas. So I'll walk through these in a little more detail, but wanted to give you just kind of the framework of how we're thinking about this more in a strategic thinking kind of way, as opposed to putting something down on paper to try and stretch it out over a longer period of time. This is really what we're focusing on for this calendar year. And starting with geography or geographic access, this is how our current chapters are structured. We have 16 chapters across the country, and the lighter blue areas are chapters, states that fall within a chapter that are fully covered. The ones that are orange are partial chapter coverage. So our friends in Southeast Florida, they cover just a portion of the state, not the entire state. And then we have limited chapter coverage in some other states like Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina, where it's really focused in specific metropolitan areas. So one of the things that the board just approved last week that I'm really excited to share with you all is a new chapter coverage model that looks at expanding some current chapters and then creating some new chapters. For example, in the South, where we had a huge gap, there will be a new chapter to cover that area. In California, making sure that our peers and colleagues out there are covered in terms of receiving access to programs and services. We had in kind of the middle of the country really spotty coverage. And so now making sure that everyone, no matter what state they're in, has access to our programs and services, certainly at the national level, but also through a local chapter. So we know that that's really important to the people that we serve, and we're listening. And so we're putting that in place. We'll be rolling that out in the next few months in terms of kind of renaming and assigning some of these states to chapters. So stay tuned for more details on that. But the takeaway is we're here for you and happy to connect you with those resources, and really excited to do that for you. In terms of what those resources look like, it's everything from support to education to research. On the support side, many of you know about and lead actually on our behalf support groups. And these have traditionally been focused in specific regions or cities or towns. And during COVID, when we pivoted to virtual, they're all right now being held virtually, but we saw this great kind of coming together of the community in our support group space, where a lot of people said, you know, now we can connect across the country in a much easier way. Let's create some support groups that really best serve our needs. And so we've seen topical and community-based support groups come up that aren't restricted to a certain geography. And so those will continue. As we return to in-person meetings, which we'll be doing this spring, and we'll be rolling that out by March 1st, so stay tuned for that. Virtual will not go away. We want to make sure that people, again, have access to virtual programs and platforms as they need them. And there's lots of reasons that people will continue to need those. And so we want to deliver that. But I want to encourage you that whether you've been newly diagnosed or you've been living with scleroderma for years, or maybe you're a family member or a caregiver, there is a support group for you. And you can check our website at scleroderma.org/support. And you can find a support group, whether it's, again, based in a specific geography or based on a certain topic of your interest. Another way that may be helpful to find support group meetings and things that are coming up is to actually click calendar at the top of our website, and it will pull up. So you can see this is everything that's happening today. It will pull up everything that's happening by month or by day. And so you can click through and click on event details to actually register for these different support group meetings. So you can see that later today, we actually have a teens and parents scleroderma support group, and then our men's group meeting as well. So please make sure you check that out and get involved in those. On the education front, we hope you are saving the date for our National Scleroderma Conference. It's coming up this summer, July 14th through 16th. It will be online and in person. So we'll be in Orlando, Florida, but again, as I said, really committed to that hybrid experience for everyone in our community, recognizing that this is really important for access for everyone in our community. So this will be our National Scleroderma Conference, and then of course our Kids Get Scleroderma 2 conference held in conjunction with one another over that weekend, July 14th through 16th. You can actually learn more at our website at scleroderma.org/conference, and we have some great details there on the conference that you can check out today, and then registration opens very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Moving on to research, our third pillar and our largest investment at the foundation, wanted to share with you all that last month in mid-December, the board actually approved funding for our next class of investigators. So we have 8 new research projects that are being funded this fiscal year. And all of these projects were ranked by peer review in the high impact scoring area. So that's really exciting and encouraging that we continue to fund the best of the best. The total investment for these projects is $1.6 million, and it includes 3 of our new investigator awards and 5 of our established investigator awards. Also, just wanted to share with you all, you can see on the left-hand side of the screen what the breakdown is in terms of the type of science represented by each of the applications that's funded, and the full class of investigators will be announced in our spring issue of The Voice. Also wanted to share that we continue to see really steady success rates in terms of number of successful applications that are funded. But because you're on the stakeholders call, I also want to give you a sneak peek at a few of the funded projects that I thought were particularly promising. So one is Dr. Lee at Hackensack, and Dr. Lee is looking at actually creating classification criteria for juvenile systemic sclerosis. The reason that this is so important is because there actually haven't been any clinical trials in this area in terms of the juvenile variation of systemic sclerosis. And so in order to be able to do this important work, there actually have to be classification criteria that objectively and scientifically enumerate what the disease looks like so that people can be enrolled in those trials in a very systematic way. And so by putting together this study, which is actually an international effort, Dr. Lee and her colleagues are actually setting us up as a community to make sure that we have criteria that are applicable universally, and that actually future trials could be international, not just in the US. And so they could have broad applications across our patient population, which is really great, especially for our juvenile population. The next project I wanted to highlight was Dr. Contreras at University of Minnesota. And he is actually looking at the role of centromere and chromosome or abnormalities in scleroderma patients, particularly in the development of skin and other organ lesions. So this is really exciting work that he's doing, specifically looking again at that fibrosis that is so important in our disease state. Dr. Boujor in BU is looking at a new technology and tool that would actually allow us to quantify skin changes in scleroderma. So this actually could be an alternative to the Rodnan skin score, and it could help clinicians detect fibrosis in the skin earlier and potentially even more accurately assess the response to a specific therapy that a patient may be taking. So again, these are just 3 quick highlights of the 8 that have just been funded and will be announced in the spring issue of The Voice, so stay tuned for that. But we're really encouraged by the quality that we continue to attract here at the Foundation of science and of investigators, as well as the breadth and the depth of the types of projects that we're seeing. So you remember I talked about our 3 different goals. The second one was really being intentional about the culture that we're designing and delivering. And I shared this with our leadership in September as we kind of crafted this based on feedback from our staff and leaders along the way this past fall. And we're continuing to map this back to our behaviors and our values, which you'll see along the bottom of the screen, but making sure that this is resonating, making sure that we're living this out. But really what it comes down to is our shared commitment within our community to the mission. And that really inspires us to always do our best. We take care as a team, whether it's our staff team or volunteer team, to really build connection. And that's one of the things that I learned day one joining the foundation was it's all about the connections and really working to foster that trust with one another. We lead with integrity, and then we really steward a community in which everyone can share openly and engage authentically. And then you can see these values along the bottom, which really helped us build out this culture, which isn't just a statement, it's something that we live every day and we revisit and reveal and redesign all along the way. So we invite you into this with us, and we have regular pulse surveys as well. So thank you to everyone who has helped us to continue to measure this and make sure we're living up to this every day. Also wanted to share a great quote by the chairman of the board, Kevin Boyanowski, and this was in the last issue of The Voice, where Kevin talked about the awards and our gratefulness and gratitude to our volunteers, but really, I think rings true and reflects on our culture statement that I just shared, but really through volunteerism, just saying, you know, we see the best of our culture in action and how all of our volunteers share that commitment to the mission, but also to the fight against this disease. So thank you to all of our volunteers. You'll remember our third goal was to increase funding to support an increased investment across our 3 mission pillars. And thank you to all of our supporters since July 1st of last year up until the end of December. You all gave over $2 million. Thank you so much. And then wanted to also highlight our new membership program is another opportunity to participate and engage in a meaningful way and to give back as well. So we have 2 new membership levels, and you can check that out at scleroderma.org/benefits. And then our corporate partners are very generous and also engaged in the mission and giving back as well. And we've launched a new corporate membership program for our corporate partners called LINK, which stands for Leverage, Inspire, Network, and Collaborate. And we're so grateful to our corporate partners for continuing to invest and support all 3 of our mission pillars. I mentioned our new membership program. One of the benefits of being a member is that you get access to The Voice magazine. And so you should have received your winter issue. And if not, you can check it out at scleroderma.org/voice. But some of the highlights in this issue are the the feature on our national and chapter leadership awards, as I mentioned, some commonly asked GI questions in scleroderma, an article on scleroderma and ILD. We have a great story on the Malotsi's legacy of hope, 2 of our great champions in the community, and then of course, celebrating our vibrant community and everything that's going on across the country. Another way to really get involved and get engaged with the foundation, of course, is to find a walk near you. And so one of the ways to do that that's quick and easy is to go to scleroderma.org/stepping-out. This year, we are so excited to celebrate 20 years of Stepping Out to Cure Scleroderma walks. So not only is it our 25th anniversary as an organization, it's our 20th year of hosting these great awareness-raising walks and fundraising walks as well. And we look forward to really seeing all of you out in the community at these walks throughout the year, and hope that you'll get out there and raise awareness of this disease. One of the things I always like to do on these calls is make sure that you know how we're stewarding your resources, and do a little pulse check on our financial health. And so here's some metrics for you all to look at. In terms of net assets as of December 31st, 2022, Foundation was at 7.5 million. So very healthy balance sheet there. When we look at our holdings in cash and investments, we're at 8.3 million. Another one of the metrics we always look at and share is how many months do we have in reserves? And we want to have at least a year in reserve, so at least 12 months. And you can see we're more than 100% of that metric with 17.9 months in reserves. And so what that means is if we didn't raise another dollar, we could operate for 17.9 months without having to cut any of our programs. And then one of the metrics that we look at annually is how many, what percentage of our investment goes directly to our mission, or how many cents of every dollar, some people say, goes directly to programs. And so this is another one that's really great. Anything above 75 or 80 is really good. We're sitting at 87%, so 87 cents of every dollar goes directly to the mission, not to overhead costs or any administrative or fundraising costs. And so all of these metrics have allowed us to receive 6 consecutive years of 4-star ratings at Charity Navigator, and our commitment to financial transparency and reporting also allows us to receive the Platinum Transparency rating from Candid as well. So we are nearing the end here, so I will just say if there's anything we can do for you, if you have questions that you aren't comfortable sharing when I stop the record here in a minute, please reach out to us. Any member of the team is always happy to help you, to point you in the right direction, to get you connected where you want to be, where you want to go, help you find your best path. You can reach out at info@scleroderma.org or to any one of us directly. And we just thank you so much for your investment in the mission of the foundation, your commitment, and your engagement. Thank you so much.